watching monitors while she was doing her thing, that we had a real hit on our hands. Did any of you see the parody that Saturday Night Live did with that commercial on its season opener a couple of weeks ago? First of all, our commercial's better than their parody. But what a compliment to AMC that they decided, of all the commercials that air all year long in television, to do a tribute to how popular that Nicole Kidman spot is for AMC. So we didn't know it was coming, but on balance, we were appreciative that we did it. So I'm curious, how many of you in the room are Philadelphians, as am I, by the way?
Let's go Phillies!
Let's go Phillies!
Let's go!
Go AFC!
So if we cut out one reel of the movie tonight, and like the middle of it, we just get rid of it, like you can all watch the end of the Phillies game. That's the we're not going to do that. So I think you know that I'm a Philadelphian, which makes it particularly enjoyable for me to come back and meet with all of you tonight. I know that this is a movie crazy town because we sell a lot of movie tickets in Philadelphia. It's also a sports crazy town with the Phillies doing what they're doing, and the Eagles doing what they're doing, and the Sixers have a good roster. I don't think the Flyers are doing such a great year, but hope springs eternal. What I want to tell you tonight is from the heart. This is the 10th city where I've gone to over the last year, come to a theater, sat down with people who like AMC, watch a movie together, and then talk afterwards outside, as we will. For those of you who were here when I just welcomed you all before the trailer package, I'm going to stay for as long as it takes to take pictures, sign things, whatever you want. There are two of you in this room tonight who were like, you came to see Ticket to Paradise, and you're like, who's the guy up front with the microphone? How come he's in around? I want to watch the movie. For the rest of you, I'm just guessing that you're apes. So here's what the silverback wants to say, okay?
Kill the shorts!
That's what you say. It's sort of illegal for me to say it. I can say it. You saved AMC. It's just that simple. You and a few million of your friends saved AMC. Now, for sure, the company's management team has worked very hard under very difficult circumstances. So we like to think that we had a little bit to do with saving AMC too. Because it was our brains and our hard work. But what allowed us to play the game was your enthusiastic support. And, we all know we raised $2.25 billion, $2.25 billion of equity by selling AMC shares in 2020 and 2021. If we had not been able to do that successfully, we wouldn't be here today. No, we'd exist, but we would have gone through a very painful bankruptcy process, and we wouldn't exist in the same form, and we wouldn't exist with the same cachet. And we were only able to raise $2.25 billion of equity because the apes were there to buy the shares. And you gave us a lifeline to work our way through this pandemic, which we are in the process of doing. And I think we're in the process of doing it very well. Beyond that, though, there's something that you all did for AMC, and you may not even appreciate as much as I do what that was. So you all know that back in March of 2021, I realized that individual investors had taken over the ownership of AMC. And company managements always have talked to their shareholders. But companies the size of AMC and the New York Stock Exchange, our shareholders are all institutions. And so we talked to institutional shareholders through these elaborate devices that have been set up over decades. Quarterly earnings calls and investor conferences and through securities analysts. Well, what we had to deal with for the first time imaginable, how do you talk to your company's owners when there's 3 or 4 million of them? And I thought the way you do that is Twitter. Because we can get our message out quickly, and a lot of you can see it, a lot of you can read it, and comment back. And that's what I wanted to mention in terms of what you did for AMC that you may not realize. I spend about an hour a day reading my Twitter feed. No, it's usually, 7 in the morning or 11 at night or midnight or something, so it's not exactly hours that I would take away from anything else. But I learned so much about what was on your mind by reading what you write. And you have no idea how much your enthusiasm rubbed off on us. Your passion for AMC, it's, I don't want to use the word infectious, that's a really bad word in America these days. I don't want to say it's contagious, that's a really bad word in America these days. I see it, you can drop it out, it's all I'm just saying. So I'll just say it's very powerful. Because you share with us your enthusiasm, you share with us your reverence, you share with us that you didn't want movie theaters to die. You didn't want the movie industry to die. And you wanted to do all you could, 100 shares at a time, 20 shares at a time, 1,000 shares at a time. You wanted to do all you could, and you were giving us the backbone and the courage to do it on your behalf. And so far, so good. We're the biggest movie theater chain in the world. We're the strongest position of any movie theater chain in the world. Back in March of 2020, when the coronavirus, COVID-19 forced us to shut theaters, we had a company called Cineworld, big theater chain in Europe, which owns Regal, which is a big theater chain here in the US. Together, Cineworld and Regal are the second largest movie theater company on the planet, second only to us. Well, we were in the exact same boat they were in March of 2020. And fast forward 2.5 years. We're strong, we're navigating our way through this. We have exciting plans of things that we're going to announce next month, next year. We're confident in our recovery. By contrast, I think it's 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, Cineworld had to file for bankruptcy. Because they were down to $4 million of cash, that's all they had left. And like $4 million for a company their size lasts you about a minute and a half. And by contrast, we're in a favorable spot. And we're in that favorable spot because the management team at AMC made the right decisions, made the hard choices, took the bold risks, and came up with a really good roll of the dice. Over and over and over again. And I remember telling friends that this is back in 2020 when the theaters were shut and scrambling to survive. And we pulled some rabbits out of the hat to make it through. I said, the only problem is I need about 7 more rabbits. And we found them. And time after time after time, we made the right choices, we took the right risks, and here we are together, we're launching the movie together with a bright future. So, my only message tonight is really very simple. thank you for your support for the past 2.5 years. AMC had a glorious first 102 years in our history. We're going to have a glorious 102 next years in our history. And we owe it all this group. And so somebody in the white shirt here is flashing a sign that says the AMC Ideas Group. This is the group I We got like binders full of ideas sent to us by the AMC Ideas Group. And we implemented a lot of those ideas too. Some of them were better than others, but you know, totally pretty good. So, that's all I want to say. We're here, we're strong, we're going to fight our way through this pandemic. It's not over yet, we're not out of the woods yet. If you look at the box office for the whole industry for calendar year 2022, it's going to be about a third below what the industry box office was in 2019, just before the pandemic. And a lot of your profitability comes in the last 10, 15, 20% of your visitors. So when your visitors are down a third, it really, it's a sucker punch to the gut in terms of making money. And like, we're not a charity, we're a business. And like, we don't pay our bills, like we don't get to stay open. So we need to be profitable to thrive. But if you, again, you look at the industry box office, for 5 years in a row, it was between $11 and $12 million, never lower than 11. And by the way, for the 6 years before that, it was over $10 million. So 11 years in a row, it's over $10 million. 5 years in a row, it's over $11 billion. COVID comes, the next year it's $2 billion. Down more than 80%. Can you imagine? And last year was $4.5 billion. And this year it's going to come in probably between 7.5 and 8 billion. And we hope next year it'll be like 20% stronger than this year. We hope it'll come in very round numbers, 9.5 billion next year, which would be really good progress over 2022, but still short of the pre-pandemic level. So we got a way to go to get through all this, but we've navigated it pretty smartly so far. And I'm highly confident we'll continue to navigate our way through it smartly going forward. So let's hear it for a good 23 and a proud and tall AMC. And a big thank you to the apes, because really, you're the ones who made it possible for it to occur. So with that,
We love you, Adam.
thank you. Thanks for coming tonight. I look forward to talking to you outside. If truth be told, I've actually had a blast running around the country, talking to our individual movie buffs and our shareholders. So this is not a chore for me, it's a labor of love. Looking forward to our pictures, looking forward to hearing you tell me who you are and what you think of AMC. And with that, it's time to watch George Clooney and Julia Roberts in Ticket to Paradise. Run the movie. And, oh, wait, stop. See this guy right here? That's Jamal Bush. Jamal is 13 years with AMC. He's a general manager of the Chamonix 24. This is his, like, fourth, maybe, theater that he's been general manager of. He does a great job. And I just also want to give it up, thank you, and I want to thank you and your team here at the Chamonix 24 for doing it every day, 365 days a year. So my hat's off to you. Now, a Ticket to Paradise.